Okay, I'm back. Happy New Year, happy Kwanzaa, happy holidays, blah, blah, blah. I decided to do something a little different just because I think people like to see movement and actions. So I also just got out of class. I have nothing to do, kind of. Vlogging is partly spiritual and religious, so I'm just gonna do my makeup while I talk. Speaking of which, do you want to know something? I did my own eyebrows. It actually took me 2 hours, and that's okay. There's never a need for an excuse. I just wanted to do them, and I didn't feel like paying, so I made the waxed my eyebrows, and then I tweezed them. Yeah, it's definitely a journey. At the beginning, I think one of my eyebrows is thicker than the other. I persevered, obviously. Thanks for that. That was great. I had a meeting with the president of our college, university. College is one school, university is multiple. I had a meeting with the president of our university. It was a group meeting. It's not like I was the only person there, but I did have a chance to talk to him one-on-one. And it was so funny because he was talking about internalized beliefs that the Black community never challenges and that people in general don't challenge, but obviously it was catered to Black people because we go to an HBCU. Not too much. And that stuck out to me because my niche, or my main piece of content, is talking about things that I have always thought but never questioned. And now that I'm 19, it's definitely time for me to talk about a lot of those things. So that was super cool. I thought that was cool. But yeah, I'm doing my makeup because there's no reason not to, and I don't have to save all my things for a special occasion, and I need practice. I have eczema. I might as well put some lotion on my hands. I hear that the key to good makeup is a good moisturized base. I have done my makeup before. It's just, I want to learn how to do it. Make it look great. Also, this oil, I think it's getting everything else in my bag oily. Like, oily for no reason oily. Ugh. That really is. Okay, that's fine. I was gonna buy an eyeshadow palette, but God is great, and my sister gave me her old one. I don't even think she used this one. And I reorganized because you can always start over. I see how I'm just dropping nuggets. I reorganized. So I have like a go bag of makeup if I just want to take something small, and then I have my big bag. I'm actually using the go bag to put my phone up, so no, I can't show you. That's okay. How do we do this? This matches my skin so well, and it makes it brighter. And then my older sister also gave me this. I don't think she uses this, and it just disappeared into my skin. I thought it was so great, so I'll probably use this one, and maybe this one. This is my old one, tried and true, also from my sister. What's not from my sister on here? This, and this, and this brush, and this liner. I'm just gonna show you all of them since I started. And this brush. I think I'm gonna do a simple, aiming for everyday kind of makeup. So, but yeah, one thing I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about it too much so I don't seem like crazy, but relationships, I'm really learning something. I'm actually learning a lot. Initially, I was kind of annoyed talking about relationships because I know my sister is anti-romantic, and unfortunately I wasn't blessed with that. So anytime I was talking about being in a relationship or wanting a boyfriend, she would just shut down, and it made me feel so insecure because I was like, well, how come she's so far removed from it and I'm not? And then I realized there's nothing wrong with either of us. LOL. I'm gonna use a blender. I know it looks kind of crazy, but I am gonna use a blender. But yeah, there's nothing wrong, with wanting companionship, but it is worth looking into as to why you desire companionship in this way, and why you may desire it so much. Because for me, I think it's because my parents, it's so bad. I never really, okay, I wouldn't say my parents abused me, so I never bring up the concept of daddy issues when I'm talking about myself, but I realized that I definitely have some issues. When I was younger, my dad is a firefighter, and on my birthday when I was younger, they would buy me Lego sets. Me and my twin sister, they would buy us Lego sets, and I love Lego sets, okay? They're my favorite thing. And I would sit on the floor in the living room, and I would build them while my parents made like birthday pancakes or whatever, and it was so fun. But I remember more so the fact that my dad was never there. They would leave them on my bed when I woke up because my dad would be at work. And let me think, on holidays my dad wouldn't be there because he would work overtime. And then my bright idea was to get a job so that my dad would have to work less and so that I could support myself. But my parents were against it, and my dad was like, it's my job to provide, so I'm just gonna keep working, and whatever you need, I'll just work extra hours. And so I was so worried because I found out that he had this liver problem this one time. I thought he was dying. And I was young, I thought he was dying. I was like, no, I wasn't young. But I still thought he was dying. And I was like, why didn't he tell anyone? And why did he hide this? And blah, blah, blah. And so I think my dad is a great person. He works really hard, and he shows his love through obviously acts of service. But I think in a way I miss him, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. It does. That's the other thing I'm gonna stop doing, saying I don't know, okay? I'm off of that. But yeah, there's a version of him in our relationship that I'm expecting and missing because of how much he worked and what he thought his role as a father was, and what I guess it technically is. There's that. It also makes me mad at my mom because my mom calls herself like backup. She was a homemaker though, so maybe she's just transitioning. But if I need a ride somewhere or I want something, my mom would be like, ask your dad first. And I would just put tension on it because my dad would tell me how tired he was. And then I would have to like go anyway and be like, well, I can't ask my mom, I have to ask you first. And then he would talk bad about my mother, and then my mother would talk bad about him, and it was just like back and forth, and I didn't want to be involved with that. And I don't think the relationship I had with my mom was the one that I wanted for myself either. I'll tell this story one time, and even though like no one's listening, when I was a kid, I was super energetic. Everyone called me over dramatic and super eccentric, la 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 la, whatever. But I loved it because everyone loves over dramatic people when they're super happy and not too over dramatic. So nobody likes over dramatic people. I just realized that. But this one time, my whole family had gotten invited an invitation to a wedding, and it was in Florida, and I was super excited because I've never been to Florida. But my mom pulled me over. Not even pulled me over. She called me one day from my room. She was sitting in the living room, and she came to me and she was like, when your grandma asks if you want to go and if she can buy you a plane ticket, you should tell her no. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, tell her no. And I was like, why? And she was like, if you go, it's gonna be too loud. She was like, you and your sisters, you all together are too loud, but you need to stay home. And I was like, that's so unfair because, let me think. My older sister and my younger sister were both going, and I wanted to go too. I wanted to go to Florida. And Mom was like, no, don't go. So I didn't go because I was a child. And of course I listened to my mother and I didn't go. And neither did my twin sister. Yeah. And I know you're thinking it's crazy that you're holding on to this, and I'm definitely sure it probably is crazy. Well, I'm definitely sure it's probably. But I asked her about it like probably like a year back or 2 years back, and she was like, no, yeah, I stand on that. I'm really happy that I didn't let that happen. I was like, Mom, what do you mean? She was like, oh yeah, you guys are so loud, and I didn't want you there, and I didn't want you to embarrass me. And I know you may be thinking, maybe you were loud. I really was not loud, bro. I'm really not loud. I'm really not loud. Am I excited? Sure. And would I like to let this idea go? Absolutely. But I went to Texas this past year for a conference, and a colleague invited me to a birthday party, and I decided to go because we were colleagues and I wanted to experience something new. We were going go-karting and wow, whoa, one of these is not doing what I said. And I don't know, for some reason, I was just so excited. I think I had pumped myself up because I speak Spanish, and that's one thing that I'm always trying to work on mentally, not being afraid to speak Spanish because I'm not a native and I find it embarrassing for me to try, but I'm not above trying. So I was working on stuff like that, and I was in the Uber going to my colleague's party, and the man was playing Bad Bunny, and I was like, can I play a song? So I played a song, and it was this old Spanish song that I love, and he was like, did you put this on? I was like, oh yeah. And he was like, okay. And I was like, oh yeah, I might get slammed for this, and that's okay. I'm learning from my actions. I was like, yeah, I'm Dominican. And he was like, really? No, I didn't say I'm Dominican. I said I'm Puerto Rican because my friend, she's half Puerto Rican, half El Salvadorian, and we're like best friends. And she would be like, girl, you're so honorary. You're literally Puerto Rican. You can come over whenever. And she's like, talk Spanish to me. And so I was like, yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. And he was like, shut up, I'm Dominican. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was just so pumped up at the fact that I had almost done something. And I don't speak because, you know, women are socialized that way in Ubers. Me even playing music in the Uber was such a milestone for me. I was really excited. And so I was like, wait, maybe I can be myself. And so I was having fun at the party, and this colleague was afraid instead. He was like, oh my gosh, this is such a rare form of you. And he was like, oh wow, I'm kind of worried. Why are you being like this? And I was like, what? And he likes photography, so he was videoing us. And I was like, wait, why are you videoing me if you don't like the way that I'm acting and blah, blah, blah. But he just kept recording, whatever. And so immediately embarrassed, so embarrassed. And I was like, why do I use this for my foundation? That's why it's like that. Okay. And I was like so embarrassed over it. And I never realized it because I was like, you know what, whatever, let's just have fun. It's a great day. It's your birthday, we should celebrate, and I'm gonna bring the energy because there's this whole debacle about everybody saying they were gonna go and then nobody paid. So he paid for the remaining people because we had to have a certain number of people attend in order for our party to be valid, and we didn't have enough people, so he paid for the remaining people to get around that. And I was like, that's lucky crazy, and you shouldn't have to think about that. I'm so sorry. And so I was like, yeah, let's just keep the energy up. And it didn't occur to me that this emotion I possessed was so threatening until the next day. I had invited my colleague and a couple other people to come to a museum with me in Texas. It's the Briscoe Western Art Museum, I think, which was beautiful, by the way. And we go to the art museum, and I'm super excited. Not as excited as last night, obviously, but he was like, well, Logan, you got a lot of forms, mind your forms. And I was like, what? He's like, mind your form. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, maybe tone it down a bit. I said, oh, I toned it down for the rest of the day. You're not gonna get me. And so, you know, I know people will say I'm mean and standoffish all the time, but there's a reason. And it's really not mean. It's just you obviously aren't interested in what I have to be, what I have to share. So why would I share it with you? I don't get that. Why you're upset that I've retracted, but whatever. And so I think always being told that I'm loud and too much makes me think that I'm too much because, okay, I'll say it this way. If my emotions are unnecessary and extra, unnecessary things don't come from necessary people. I know the logic is flawed. I see the flaw in the logic, but I've had that idea for so long that I haven't figured out a way to go around it yet. Anytime I go around it, it's just me pushing past the fact that it's pushing past the hate for myself. That's just what it is. I don't know, some days you feel like showing up for yourself, some days you don't. Some days you feel like rewriting the stories that you've been told, and some days you don't. And so when I talk to this colleague, it's all dry. And I know he's like, why are you like this? But I can't do it. I think it's also a male thing. If you don't give them exactly what they want in the digestible form that they want at the time that they're asking, it's inconvenient for them, and so obviously you're a mean bitch. Excuse my language. Dang, and I'm fasting, sorry. But yeah, that's what it is. So it's discouraging. And why do I want that affection from men? Probably because I've never seen it before. I don't know. But yeah, I think being told to tone down all the time makes me think that I need to be in a lower volume, less of me. I think I need less of me to be acceptable. And so because I'm always acting as less of myself, even if people like me now, I never feel secure because they don't even know me. And yeah, I think that's why you have to be honest with yourself, because now I'm in this situation where I feel inauthentic, and you wouldn't know that I'm authentic because this is all I ever show you. But I also have this gripping fear that even if I did show you, you wouldn't want me anyway, so why bother showing up as myself? And why would I bother? Because I like me more than I like the idea of being liked by a stranger. That's why you do it. But yeah, I think my family dynamics have absolutely impacted me. I can't even talk about the birth order in itself. I'm technically not the middle child. I'm not the youngest. There are 5 kids in my house. I'm second. And because I've had twin, it's kind of weird. I don't want to say that I share the middle child because middle child is a special thing, obviously. That's technically my twin sister because I'm older. And you know, hello? Okay. When my older sister left for college, I was the oldest. It was kind of weird. And my sisters were fighting. I remember when I was 13, I think my older sister was gone. I was in the kitchen, and my little brother and my twin sister, they were fighting. I didn't really do anything about it. And so my mom came downstairs, and she was pissed at me. And she said I dishonor her. I will never forget that. I felt like Mulan, but the damage is also there. I haven't figured out a way to regain my honor. And everyone in the house, the kids, they all think that I'm some goody two-shoes and I like to kiss up to my mom. But I really think it's more like my moral conscience won't allow me to live in a way that's out of alignment with my mother's wishes. Otherwise, I should kill myself. I remember anytime I said my mom would find me disrespectful, I would go and do push-ups to starve myself. I don't know why I thought that was the right method, but I did, and that's what I went through with. I don't know if I would recommend that, and I don't think you should do that. But that's what I did. I think this is great for me. You're probably not watching all this, but to be able to talk about it, I think maybe I'll make some strides. This cute. Yeah, I don't know what Logan was thinking, but obviously I thought that was gonna save me until I realized my mom is emotionally unavailable and my dad is absent. Which is wild because they're doing their best. Or what is it? One of them is emotionally unavailable and one of them is like emotionally unpredictable. I don't know, something. But yeah, I don't blame them. I hear my mother's stories, the ways I can't, or I don't understand. And I think I just want a chance or a day to come where it's like I belong here. I don't feel like I belong among my sisters. My little sister ignores me, and I know you think I'm playing. She literally ignores me. I mean, she literally ignores me. I came to see her one time, but people started asking me too many questions. She got pissed. So she ignored me for a couple months, I think. And she still does sometimes. And I feel like as an older sister, the fact that I can't maintain a good relationship with one of my siblings is a show of how terrible I am. And if I'm so terrible as a sister, how am I gonna find a significant other? I don't know. I don't know if there's one out there for me. But I feel like me spending 20 minutes going through what I feel and me glorifying my own struggles isn't the best course of action. So let's pivot. I know that God made me on purpose. I do know that. But more so I believe it. He made me on purpose because someone out there needs exactly what I have. And the only way for them to find me is by being exactly who I am and nothing less. And it took such a turn. And I'm trying to fix it now because I realize when I'm thinking about relationships with boys, I kind of can do better. I don't want to say I'm picking losers, but I'm picking beneath what I can get. In a nice way. I deserve better. I mean, that was just plain though. I should have known. And I deserve to be able to leave a talking stage an interested person if I don't think that they find me interesting. I mean, wait, what the heck? I mean, this guy literally didn't text me, slid up on my Instagram DMs. Like, the day would go by, I would post on my Instagram and he would reply to that instead of text me. No hello, no nothing. And I was like, maybe this is just how he shows affection and I should be okay with that. But I actually don't have to. I can do so much better. I can go hotter. I can go more attentive. I think that's what I'm missing. Attention. I didn't get attention. I didn't get the attention that I wanted and I guess needed as a kid. And so I've accepted the fact that I just won't get it. And I'm dating down. We're not doing that anymore. For the sake of my kids. Can't date down. And not even them. For the sake of me. Okay? I was not at peace that whole time. And it was terrible. Don't let a man take your peace. Don't let a boy take your peace. I mean, really, I don't want to call you that, but it was really like a loser. Not a loser, but I could have done better. And I shouldn't have felt so bad about liking them. I guess my idea was I liked them first, so how am I going to turn around and be like, never mind? But I have every right to do that. So, today's question, can you change your mind? Yes. You can always change your mind. It's so funny. People blame you for changing your mind all the time, but you can change your mind. Circumstances change, feelings change, time changes, things wear off. It's not interested anymore. That's my thing. It's my 2 cents, even though we don't make pennies anymore. That's okay. We can start whenever we want to. But yeah, relationships are interesting. This time, to follow the trend, the program is strict. Like, it was like, okay. I fasted and prayed. You might have prayed. I work out every day. You do 6 pull-ups maybe a week just to see if you can still do it. We are not the same. And there's nothing wrong with me saying that. Can you even tell I have makeup on? No. That's okay. Wow, I never said it. Okay, oops. Guys, don't forget to say it. But yeah. So, to summarize, there's nothing wrong with me wanting affection, wanting a partner. But there's nothing wrong with me being picky. In fact, that's the greatest thing ever, being picky. And I need to be more myself. I won't have to be as picky if I'm always in contact with people who are ooh, girl. Big Donnie bird. Like, I feel like I wouldn't run into his problem if I was myself. If I'm always confining myself, I'll confine myself in whatever circumstance, even if I'm uncomfortable. And I don't feel like being uncomfortable for anything anymore. So I quit my job, and I don't talk to certain people anymore. But anyway, I'm just gonna keep being myself, hopefully. I also really like my hair when it's in a ponytail, but I'm trying not to wear ponytails. I don't know, it just really pulls the face up, bro. That's okay. I need to let it just sit, though. But yeah, those are my 2 cents. Anyway, what does this have to do with Jesus? I think God is showing me all these lessons that I need in order to be prepared for the next exam. Or not even for the next exam, for the next person. You can always learn a new lesson. And I think the more lessons that I rack up, the better I am for the next time. I can, I can cross more things off. I can be more detailed. Like, do not date people who are not in your religious group. There will be an issue, obviously. I learned that very clearly. And even if nothing is wrong with them, they don't have to be right. And even if you think nothing is wrong with them, if you're not happy, you're not at peace, there doesn't have to be anything wrong. And the other thing I learned is you can have a crush on someone and it doesn't have to go anywhere. Not in a sense like just because you have a crush on someone, it won't work, but just because you have a crush on someone doesn't even mean that you need to do something. You can just have a crush and that's it. And those are fine things. I think our society always pushes for the next step, and there doesn't have to be a next step. So anyway, I hope you learned something about me, about you, and what we're gonna do. I will see you in another week. Not this week, but the next, because you know I don't be posting every week. I shall see you soon. And cheers to growing for the new year. In the mirror, it looks okay.